we're going to be reviewing What Culture Wrestling. Simon Miller, the dude, the goat of positivity. Got to be said, I've not watched this one yet, so this is going to be like a complete straight up fresh reaction. Video was only released 14 minutes ago, so let's get into it. Let's see what Simon's saying.
Is the new word. We've also got cinema and live show charisma. Wrestling is not a real place. We are focusing on the first today, though, because in many ways it's more important than in-ring psychology. Fans love it. Given how rambunctious the industry can be, however, you're only...
Also, I apologise for how clammy I appear and basically how rough my voice is. Check on your friends in the UK, because in the heat wave, we're not doing well, man. We're not doing well.
One angle away from being told you are now or less, which isn't a thing, but hey, we're going to talk about something today, so I am Simon Miller. Let's go through 8 very specific examples. Number 8, Austin Aries. It is important to know that Austin Aries at one time was ahead of the curve. He was a must-see in many a promotion and could move from a wrist lock to a 450 no problem. He was a talented guy. Aries was also the TNA champion and nobody blinked an eye, and even when he was dueling with Neville in the Cruiserweight division. I mean, they weren't given the platform, but the feud was really good. Some of the matches were top draw. For some reason, though, in 2018, Austin got on word about something, I suppose, and went into, to use the classic term, business for himself. It was TNA's Bound for Glory show, and Aries was going to lose his championship to join Impact thanks to Starship Pain. I mean, it was totally okay. At the time, a title change felt perfectly acceptable. Johnny got the 1, 2, 3, and the crowd reacted, so yeah, we were having a good old time when we weren't. For some reason, Aries instantly got back to his feet as if nothing had happened. He left the ring, and then he flipped off TNA executive Don Callis. What? Now, of course, some people have claimed this wasn't work that went awry, whereas others are just like, no, Aries threw a tantrum, I guess. Only those involved know, but you've got to look at it from both sides. If this was story-based, why did anybody agree? After WCW pulled this nonsense in 2000, we all knew how stupid it was. Don't do it again. And if this was Aries deciding to ignore the art of wrestling, well, it caused a right stink, yeah. Sort of stole away all the good work he had done. That's not what you want. Everybody just wanted to talk about this. Number 7.
Well, I definitely agree with the first one. Like Austin Aries, I can remember his WWE run being a little bit problematic backstage, if I'm not mistaken. Incredibly talented dude, man. Always loved this stuff in Ring of Honor and obviously the early TNA, especially like when he did the X Division title swoop thing for the main World Heavyweight title. That was awesome. I think they called it Option C or something like that. But yeah, man, definitely a fall off of Aura, because like when he beat Rude in TNA, man, my man was goated, bro. My man was goated. I even jumped out of my seat for that match, man. So yeah, sounds on something here.
I think this one is slightly unfair. When WWE was going through a rough time in 2019, they were blessed to have Seth Rollins. Aside from his work in the ring, Rollins defended the company to a fault. WWE needed that. Some of the booking was awful. The tweet that sent the internet wrestling community off was after the Battleground pay-per-view, and yeah, you don't remember that show. That's not your fault, because as I mentioned, it was such an odd time for WWE. Nothing felt like it mattered long term. Seth decided he would defend the Cruiserweight match between Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and Tozawa after online criticism, but that's not really what people were mad with. Again, it was just this constant lack of consistency. For example, elsewhere on this card, we also got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus The New Day, and just as the former was starting to cook, they were broken up because of course they were, whereas Ricochet versus Samoa Joe had given it their all for their United States Championship bout, but that belt just didn't matter. It was horrible to see. It'd been
very sorry, I should not have YouTube Premium, and I'm not paying for it.
Reduced to a trinket. Rollins himself faced Baron Corbin, and again the match was fine. WWE were not being fair to Corbin here at all, so when Seth came out the other end so forceful, well, there was always going to be a backlash. Not for pay-per-view, it just wasn't a fun period. Of course, this is the ceiling when we got to that Hell in a Cell match with Bray Wyatt, but I do feel like Rollins was just trying to fly the flag. He was the guy, and like he felt as if he was trying as hard as he could. I truly do understand this, but yeah, it wasn't the best move. WWE overall, my gosh, number 6, Ric Flair.
See, I'm slightly partial to Seth Rollins. I did lose a lot of love for him in 2019. As Simon said, 2019 wasn't exactly a great year, and he did become one of those wrestlers who just took social media to serious personal levels. Other than that, I've appreciated his work. I think most of it is, as shoot-wise as it seems, I legit think he's just trying to push it as a work. Every tweet and stuff like that. I honestly do think he desired that to be a work. That given his booking was terrible, so I blame the booking more than anything for his aura loss. Because I don't like it when WWE parades around a couple and they're like, there's a power couple, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, they're both champions at the same time. Becky was great. She had great storylines and that. I can remember Seth just having the Bray Wyatt storyline and the match just leading to a big car crash, and that sort of car crash that JR likes.
This is going to happen with every wrestler if you go on too long. I can't begrudge it because who am I to tell someone when to retire? And also, no, I don't think it ruins somebody's legacy. It's like the Star Wars films. There are some stinkers, but that OG trilogy, you just can't touch it. It isn't another Ric Flair just because it's intentional or not. He did have the perfect retirement. The one more match and I'll go away forever stipulation in WWE from 2008 onwards wasn't the best booked. When we got to the Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania 24, well, it was excellent. We got the big Raw send-off too, and of course the Nature Boy had the itch again. I mean, he barely missed a year of action when he went on a Hulk Hogan Australian tour before going on a massive run in TNA. It was almost as if we'd made up him drawing a line on his career in our heads. Those Aussie shows didn't help either, as they did not light up the world. While he did have some good moments in TNA, fans don't forget, we're like elephants. We already knew he had given it up. His retirement match in 2022 also didn't help. Flair pretended to have a heart attack mid-match, and I mean, yeah, that's not the way to end a legendary career. Sometimes you do just have to walk away. Number 5, Sin Cara.
See, it's another one like Seth Rollins, but with a lot more feeling on it because, I'm going to say this now, I know Ric Flair is a very, very problematic guy. I can separate the work from the person. Remember, we watch wrestling to enjoy the gimmicks. And Ric Flair was a gimmick I always loved. Yeah, there was some parts who were a bit... I can't... the mixing with divas and that age. And no, it wasn't for me. Otherwise, going off tangent here, Ric Flair to me is massive legend when it comes to wrestling. Still can work quite well considering his age. I'm not saying that I want to see him come back to have another retirement match because of course not his health means more than anything to me. But I don't think Rick so much has lost fucking aura. I reckon he's just lost real public relations and stuff like that. Because the public have fell off him, they don't really want his bullshit no more. And that's because of his problematic casters off the camera sort of thing. So I wouldn't say he's lost his aura as a wrestler, but I'd definitely say he's lost his aura as a person.
Or maybe Mr. Cole as you know him now. If you need proof you can get your aura back, go and watch this guy in 2025. He's probably the most over person throughout Mexico. He is seen as a walking hero. Years prior to this, in 2011, Triple H saw the potential in the man too, and he made him his first big WWE signing. The presentation was mostly the same, but he did have a brand new name, Sin Cara. To give you a better idea of what they had landed, Mystico was helping CMLL sell out Arena Mexico all of the time, and that had a capacity of around about 16,500 fans. He was also voted the biggest box office draw in the Wrestling Observer Awards, and that was in 2006. And yes, at that time, John Cena was active. For whatever reason, this new character was doomed, though, and that was from day dot. Sin Cara had a spectacular entrance where he was going to use a trampoline to bounce into the ring. But nope, it went wrong and he fell on his ass. Of course, anybody can get past that, but somebody must have had it in for this guy. All of his subsequent matches had some sort of error, and look, he's only human, but from a fan point of view, it was becoming a thing. This dude was meant to have come right out of a comic strip, and nobody was buying it. There were also rumours as well backstage that Mystico was acting too much like a star, even though he was a star. I mean, that's just wrestling politics for you. It really did fall from there until Mystico left the company, but as I've said, he did find his way again. That's a reminder, kids. You are never totally dead in the water. Number 4.
Me, I've always loved Sin Cara and Mystico. I realise botches happen and stuff like that. I'm not one of them fans who will pick on a botch or like, be like, remember how Ajax used to be? Like, you know, it can happen. Like, I mean, I've seen amazing wrestlers have like terrible accidents. You've only got to look at the Hayabusa accident, may he rest in peace. Hayabusa was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. One misstep and you can be in serious trouble. So like, I don't really agree with that one, Simon, but you're the goat. So
Chris Jericho. I mean, you just can't get away from it. I don't understand the
Plus Simon's arms are a lot bigger than my arms. Like, he's bigger than me, so I'm going to
finish the overall wrestling discussion. That doesn't mean we can dismiss it entirely. All walks of life have to be considered. The issue this group have decided on, though, is that the Chris Jericho vortex is a real thing, and anybody who gets trapped within it is doomed. I mean, that is quite damning. They pointed to the feud with Ricky Starks, which sort of triggered a heel turn when beforehand Ricky was becoming a mega babyface, and then there was the Adam Cole program. Even I can argue that one. Whatever reason, it just did not click. Hook didn't really benefit either, and who knows about Sammy Guevara? I don't really understand what's happening with him. It led to Please Retire, Charles, and I've already made my thoughts clear on that. You're a long time gone. You should wrestle as long as you think you're able to. It is true, though, that some of these did affect Jericho's overall aura from a select audience. Hence why this conversation is continuing right now. I don't think it affects his overall run in the industry, which has been all time. And look, we're still getting gems in recent memory. That Bandito match was great. I suppose the contrast comes in the fact there was a time when Chris Jericho could do no wrong. He was the forever guy, but you know the deal. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a leader.
He loves that.
Number 3, Jeff Hardy.
No way. No way. My man just threw a Kai and Typhoon in there with the Indeed as well. Simon. Chef's kiss, bro. That one I actually really agree with. Now, if anybody knows me, like, Jericho's one of my goats, man. You know what I mean? I love Jericho. But his work lately in AEW has... I'm not going to say it's dried up or he's gone boring or anything like that. Like, I just don't think... potentially he's doing the right thing. I mean, we've watched him being faction after faction after faction after faction. There's been nothing new with Jericho in AEW, and I think that's one of the main reasons of his all drop off, because we know Jericho is the ever-changing wrestling savant that he is. So yeah, definitely.
Here is another guy who has mad staying power. Go and watch the Hardys return to NXT in 2025. People still love them. It comes after a lot of issues for Jeff Hardy, which have always held him back a little bit, and Jeff himself talked about this in an interview. If he had stuck to the straight and narrow path, his star level likely would have been 10 times what it was. Trust me, during his heyday, he was massive. 2011 was the first true low point, as Hardy was meant to be challenging Sting for the TNA title at Destination X. To this day, I have no idea who signed off on this, but Jeff was allowed to go to the ring even though he was clearly intoxicated. The man does not look...
I thought it was Victory Road. I'm not going to lie, I honestly thought it was Victory Road, because that is where I fell off for Jeff Hardy. I've never had the same sort of like respect and love for him. Like, I get people have their problems outside in life and stuff like that, and like, I do realise that everybody should have a chance. But as horrible as it sounds, like, Jeff decided to come out like that, and like we've seen it with wrestling in the past with Hawk and Scott Hall, and it just never makes nice TV. No, nobody wants to see the heroes like that, and like Jeff was one of them for me. Like, man, he's one of my favourite wrestlers growing up. I think it hit like 2003, and I lost a bit of interest in him because I wasn't really into the high flying aspect of wrestling anymore. I started like really enjoying the technical submission side. So yeah, Jeff Hardy was definitely one that fell off, but I think he fell off a lot longer than what people have said before. Because like, I don't know, that WrestleMania when he came back, that was pretty awesome. But for me, he's just never hit the same against like 2003 in WWE. And he had a couple of good matches in TNA, but then I remember he did that Will o' the Wisp thing. And I wasn't the biggest fan.
Well, before the bell rings, then GM Eric Bischoff sorts out for no reason and secretly relays the new plan for the bout. Sting is going to pin this guy instantly, even if by force. The referee counts the 3 no matter what. It was awful. Sting himself was livid as he had every right to be, and the fans were pissed too. And of course they were. If you'd spent your money to see Sting versus Jeff Hardy, you wanted to see it. That was an iconic match on paper. This came off a string of similar stories, and we know what happened in AEW. It was just bad, and it did take away from the entity that was Jeff Hardy. Thankfully, he seems to have things back on track today, and that is what really matters. That's why fans are back by his side. But really, there ain't ever going to be anybody else like him. Number 2, John Moxley. Is this one fair? I think it may be a little bit of recency bias. Let's get stuck in. Absolutely, the character of Dean Ambrose was killed in WWE when he turned heel on Seth Rollins and started to breathe through a gas mask. Unless you've seen this, you do not get how bad it is. No wonder he was desperate to leave WWE soon afterwards. He totally reconnected with the audience when he did debut for AEW in 2019. And let's have it right, he was a huge reason for that company's rise. Not only was it a little bit like All Elite Wrestling's Lex Luger WCW moment, but him being there just helped. Moxley was awesome. This continued for ages too, until we got to this most recent Death Rider story. The intentions were right, as John's idea was to resell the idea of the AEW World title being the be-all and end-all, while simultaneously pushing as many of the young guys as possible. That's why at one point Darby Allin was rumored to be the dude to beat him. He was as OG as they come. As we know, that didn't happen, and eventually the whole angle got weird and messy, until nobody really knew what was happening. Mox took the brunt of this. It felt like it was his pitch, and sure, the goodwill he had was knocked a bit. That's wrestling for you. You're only as good as your last show. Kidnapping the Rock and Roll Express didn't help, as AEW fans felt this was way too WWE. And as of me talking, it is still going on. Although it does kind of feel like the company is getting ready to pivot. I will not take all of this and allow you to forget about what Mox did, though. You're allowed to have one swing in this. While I personally don't really massively like the Death Rider story, it's still Jonathan Moxley, man. He is a very, very good wrestler. Number 1.
Legit, not liked him since, I'd say, about halfway into the Blackpool Combat Club. He sort of doesn't resonate with me. Like, there's nothing about him that I'm entertained by. You know, I used to get entertained by the death matches and stuff like that. Like, but he seems to regurgitate the same sort of like death match over and over and over again. And I get it, go with what works, but like wrestling fans, as Simon said, we're elephants, we never forget. And a lot of his stuff is regurgitated, man. And like, I think he peaked, and like, this sounds really harsh because it was a couple of years ago now. I think he peaked against Kenny Omega. I think it was that non-sanctioned match that they had when they did that cool spot with that like trampoline barbed wire thing. That was quite innovative. And then of course they had that exploding barbed wire deathmatch thing, which really, really, really sucked in the end. Great match throughout, but the selling of the explosion to do AEW too good. But John was a big part of that last sell, and it's hard to defend that, but like when he started the Blackpool Combat Club, I can remember being like kind of happy because to see him and Danielson just whoop ass and beat people. That was a pretty cool idea. And then like they added Utah to it. They did well with the story, but like since I've not seen Utah really do anything, he's not being utilised. He's not really taken seriously by anybody in any match situation, and he always seems to be the guy that takes the pinfall and that. Like, and I get it, but like, Mox, you were the star 4 years ago. You're not that much of a star no more, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, we thank you for the COVID period, because you did hold title during a very, very tough time. And the same Punk debacle where, like, Punk didn't know what Rocky 3 was, like, I could understand where he got disgruntled there, but jeez, like, it's the same sort of match, same sort of build every time. And it doesn't add to his character, it doesn't add to his matches, it just makes it all just regurgitable and shit. And then we get what we had a couple of years ago with WWE. Remember when WWE pretty much ended in every Raw match with a surprise roll-up? We're getting that again, and like, we don't want that. That's the World Heavyweight title. We want that World Heavyweight title to mean something now. He's been hiding it in the briefcase for God knows how long.
Hulk Hogan. I mean, where do we even start? Of course, Hulk Hogan was one of the biggest wrestling stars ever. Without Hulkamania, who knows where the WWE would be? No, that is all true. That doesn't mean we can't make multiple statements, and as well as the above, Hulk is also a walking ball of controversy and seemingly not that good of a person. The first proper blow was the racism scandal that also featured Bob the Love Sponge's wife. Some of the things Hogan said were abhorrent to say the least. What was even worse were the news reports that when getting ready to say sorry to the WWE locker room, he instead made it clear that they're all celebrities, so be careful what you say and you can hear it. I wasn't there, but if that is true, that's not an apology. There's also so many other tales, all of which make you question the world. It all led to the January 6th Raw debut on Netflix. For some reason, WWE decided to will Hogan out again, and yep, he was loudly booed. It's not really a surprise when you go through his recent history, and whatever Hulkamania once was, well, it's not now. Every 1980s heel who promised to kill this wave had finally succeeded. All they had to do was let Hogan go Hogan. I can't imagine we'll see him again anytime soon, and it is all on his shoulders. None of this was good. I mean, it really wasn't. It was not good at all. Know anybody else that apparently has lost their aura and you may need to go and get it back? Well, let us know in the comments below.
Well, yeah, we can all agree with Hogan's aura dropping majorly, but it's the same sort of situation. Like, his aura dropped because of his actual persona in real life. The actual person behind Hulk Hogan, Terry Blair. Whereas you'll always get that wrestling fan that will go, I appreciate what Hogan's done for the business and that, like, and like, I can't. Like, I can appreciate a few things here and there, but a lot of the things that he did, like, we've heard stories about, man, they're really shady. He lies about everything. It's not good, but never mind that racist. As Simon just duly asked if I know anybody else that would due to be put on this list, I'd go with MJF. Well, that's going to stun a few people because I love MJF. Everybody knows that I really highly rate MJF. But, and this is definitely Regency bias, I have particularly no interest for the storyline or the Hurt Syndicate thing. Like, it is really shit. And there's no other word to sum it up. It just really hits flat. And I don't even know what half of the story is attempting to go. Normally you can sort of like see where a story's going, but with this one it just seems too insane to take serious. So with that, thank you very much Simon Miller and What Culture Wrestling. Be sure to give them a follow. They drop content all the time, man, and it's, well, you just seen some of the editorial things in that. Like, that was great, man. I wish I could edit like that. Simon, also the most positive human being on earth, such a nice dude. We want him to wrestle for a world title in like one of the big companies soon, so please make it happen. Like, just visit Simon Miller. We need to see him in a WWE or an AEW ring. It would be fucking sweet. Anyway, guys, much love. Keep it nuggy.